Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another episode of Kast. This is the show where I talk to you guys about all the stuff that's been going down recently, about future projects and stuff like that. And yeah, I've actually waited quite a bit before I did this particular Kast because I was waiting for some stuff to actually arrive, some stuff that I had ordered so that I could talk to you guys about it, talk to you guys about a couple of things that I've been working on, and maybe even a couple of things that you guys can expect to see in the future, hopefully. Anyways, if I sound a little bit tired, that is because I am. I haven't been sleeping all that much. And I realize it's kind of like a running theme. Like every now and then, like a lot of times, you guys will listen to me go on and on about how I haven't been sleeping much, and I'll be getting into that, but first let's go into the shout out section because I have quite a few shout outs to give out this time around. The very first shout out going out to Stefan Mark for donating to the cause. Thank you very much, Stefan Mark. Also, I believe that Stefan was someone who was ill earlier this year, he and his wife, so I hope you guys are doing better now, and thank you very much for donating to the cause once again. Also, shout out to Kevin Evers for also having donated to the cause, and Harold the Great for donating Orion Dino Horde, which I still haven't had a chance to check out, and doesn't look like I'm going to have a chance to check it out in the near future because there's just so much stuff happening right now that it's just been really, really hard. Anyways, next up, I would also like to give a shout out, as I have promised pretty much, to all of my Patreon backers. For those of you who don't know what Patreon is all about, I've already mentioned this on a previous video, so you can look that up on the channel. There's also a link in the description of this video and pretty much every other video. There at the very bottom of the description, there's like a link that says support the con. You can go to that particular page, find out more about Patreon if you are interested. But just very, very quickly, Patreon is a place that you can basically donate a set amount per month, which will then be used by me for my budget in maintaining the channel and all that stuff. Basically, that's the whole point of Patreon. Anyways, I'm going to be giving these shout outs by order in which people have donated. That is the only order that these shout outs are going to be given to. It is not by amounts. It is not by alphabetic. No, it's by, I ordered it by the first person to have pledged anything shows up first, and then everyone else shows up afterwards. So anyways, the very first person was Josh Mono. Then we have Josh Barrington, Liam O'Neill, Fatit Ozkan, I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering your name there, Stefan Baumgartner, Sam Jack Margetson, Pedro Castro Neto. He's actually Brazilian. That's what the reason why his name sounds so different is because I actually say his name in Portuguese. Otherwise, I would say Pedro Castro Neto. That wouldn't really make a lot of sense. But yeah, Bartek G, Andrew Velasco, Aquila Mars, Kyle, Barry Lane, Kieran Batiste, Tiago Cruzeiro. I actually worked with Tiago Cruzeiro before. We used to work with Portugal Gaming back in the day. Thanks a lot, man. Stephen Charon, Mark Jensen, Sabir, Mohammed Abu Shaban, Matt Walsh, Ryan Mann, Emil Drahos, Grim, Dave Mussman, Etienne Schuring, Patrick Wild, Alex C. Martinez, Ive, and Paul Spindler. So thank you very much. You guys are all backing me on Patreon, and I have to really appreciate it because without stuff like Patreon, I would probably not gamble as much as I've gambled this past month, I want to say. Maybe it was these past couple of weeks, whatever, because I've already bought some upgrades to my recording setup before I even made enough money on Patreon, because it's just like, look, there's some stuff that I needed to get in order to continue to kind of moving forward at the pace that I would like to move forward. So again, every now and then, when you're doing something like this, that is your passion, you have to take risks. And that's pretty much what I'm doing here. I'm taking a risk. I'm hoping that more people will eventually support me on Patreon to kind of make up for the risk that I've taken. But yeah. Anyways, thank you very much once again to all the people that I've mentioned here, because you guys are pretty much my lifeline right now. So yeah. Anyways, so let's get started. I've already said anyways, like God knows how many times. This is something that's actually interesting. The number of times I say the exact same word, because a lot of people seem to have been noticing that recently. And as I've said, I believe I've already mentioned this in the past. The thing is, my English vocabulary, even though I can speak English pretty decently, my English vocabulary is not very rich. So a lot of times I will be missing certain words that would make my sentences sound better, because I don't interact with English people on a daily basis. Therefore, the only person that I know that speaks English as much as I do is me. Nobody else that I actually know and interact with on a daily basis speaks as much English as me. I'm talking like interactions, like not on the internet, like just interactions when I'm out and about. And so that's one of the reasons why a lot of times you will see me maybe repeat the same words and stuff like that. It's just I really wish I had a more rich vocabulary, but without interacting with English people on a daily basis, it becomes really, really hard. Anyways, Jesus Christ. Even Stylosa said on the video that I recorded, this week I recorded a video with Stylosa from Unit Lost. Hopefully you guys saw that. Also with a guy that I met at the time, Lionheart. You guys might want to check that out. But he mentioned that I said I said one specific sentence a whole bunch of times. I can't even remember what that sentence was. But yeah, at the start of this video, I mentioned that I wasn't sleeping all that much. And something that I've been noticing recently is that I've already told you guys this, but I hate sleeping. I really do hate sleeping. I think it's completely wasted time. And I know that people are going to say, oh, but sleeping is where you take the time to rest and all this other stuff. But my mind is racing 24/7. It doesn't stop. Even when I'm trying to sleep, my mind is already thinking what I need to be doing tomorrow. And I guess this is why a lot of people claim that I'm a stressful individual, like I get stressed out easily in real life. If you guys remember, I've also mentioned this on a previous Cast when I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, oh, so are you like a stressed out individual? And I was like, no. And my wife and my mother instantly said, yes, you are. And I was like, oh, maybe I am. But yeah, my mind is always racing, and I'm always thinking about what I should be working on next. And the thing that I've been noticing is that I hate sleeping so much that it seems that my body wakens itself earlier than normal. Like I get less than 5 hours a night for the past, I've been getting less than 5 hours a night for the past month, I want to say. And what happens is when I wake up after those 5 hours or whatever, I'm like, man, I really should get some more sleep, because you should get like, the whole 8 hours, the whole 7 hours at least. It's very good. It's healthy for you and all that stuff. And what happens is I wake up and my body is just like, no, you're good. You're good. And I'm like, damn it, I feel like ass. I feel tired as all hell. And my body is just like, you're not going to go to sleep, bitch. I don't care. It's like I can lay there for 2 hours, not going to go back to sleep. It's just I'm going to be awake. So usually I just end up getting up anyways, because, again, I just don't like sleeping. And I just need to get that sorted out, because I really need to get more sleep. Otherwise, eventually, I don't know what's going to happen. I've heard that people go crazy if they don't sleep the amounts that they should. I heard that people actually die if they don't sleep enough. So I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where if you start Googling stuff on the internet, you're like, oh, my finger hurts. I'm going to die. So I just don't know what exactly the case would be, but I definitely need to get into some mentality that is going to allow me to sleep. But the thing is, I'm always thinking, do you know how much stuff I could get done if I didn't need to sleep? My God, that would be perfect. But yeah, anyways, let's move right along. One of the first things that I wanted to talk to you guys about is I got a new capture card. Like I said, all this stuff with Patreon, I'm going to be taking more risks, and hopefully people will support that. I got a new capture card, which is the Extreme U3, Extreme Cap U3 by AverMedia. I pestered AverMedia to no end to try and get this for kind of like for review unit, and they just don't get back to me. There's a lot of companies that still don't want to work with me because either I don't generate enough views or whatever. Here's the thing about this. this whole YouTube thing. It's all about the views. If you don't generate enough views, a lot of times people won't even want to work with you. Now, there are some people in the industry that actually see past the views and they will see like, okay, you're producing some quality content here, so I'm going to take a risk on you and hope that eventually you will grow and bigger, and hopefully that will pay off for them, and I'm really appreciated for those people. Then there's other people that take absolutely no chance. It's like they will have like those strict guidelines of like, look, you need to have this amount of subscribers. And I'm like, for starters, whenever someone says you need to have a certain amount of subscribers, that just tells me you guys clearly just have no idea how this works, do you? Because it's about the views, not the subscribers. But whatever. At the end of the day, what I meant to say is I got this, and I'm going to be making a review video on it, so I'm not going to go too much in depth about this particular device on this video. I just wanted to tell you guys about the purchase. So far, while again, as usual, AverMedia products tend to do, it doesn't do everything that it says in the box, because it's just something I've grown accustomed to with AverMedia, but it was pretty reasonably priced, so I ended up getting it anyways, and it's actually pretty much replaced my and changed my whole recording system around this device, because it can capture 1080p at 60 frames a second at 60 megabits bit rate, which is really, really good. It's a lot more than I need right now, but, well, not a lot more. It's just 30 frames a second more. But if YouTube ever decides to go the 60 FPS route, I will be set. It also allows me to really kind of, it allows me to do my recording and capturing a lot better. Once again, I'm not going to go into too much detail about that stuff, because some of you guys might be bored by it. Just know that I actually have a video coming up on the channel that is going to go into great detail about the way that I do everything, the way that I record. I already did one of these in the past. I'm going to make another one kind of as an update type of thing, because my setup has changed quite a bit. Another thing that I purchased, and those of you who have seen me, also, there's going to be a review up on the channel eventually about this device, the Extreme Cap U3. I'm not sure if the review is going to be up by the time this video goes up, or if it's going to go up afterwards, but at some point there's going to be a review in there, and I'm also going to discuss other capture cards in that review. So if you are interested in the least about capture cards or gameplay, capturing, all that kinds of stuff, you're going to want to watch that particular video. That's going to be going up on the channel soon. However, don't worry, I'm not going to because this is at the very core of the experience on my channel. It's going to be a gaming channel. So these videos are going to be like side videos. So on the days that these videos come out, I will probably have something lined up in terms of gaming for you guys as well. So keep that in mind. The next thing that I've got, those of you that follow me on social networks will probably have known that I've been basically cursing at Portuguese customs for the past week. And that is because I've ordered something. This thing came from Japan. And you guys are like, but you already have a PlayStation Vita. Yeah, but I wanted a Japanese one. Nah, in all honesty, it's like, yes, I already had a PlayStation Vita. The reason why I got this is because this is the modded PlayStation Vita, so it's got the capture, the video capture card mounted inside it, so it's like it's basically connected through USB onto a computer. As a matter of fact, by the time this video goes out, there should already be a video on the PlayStation Vita on the channel, so you guys can check that out, where I do a review of this particular device. I mean, it's not a very in-depth review. It's fairly basic. It's basically a PlayStation Vita. It's got video output on it, and that is going to allow me to do a lot of really cool things. For starters, no more friggin' camera setting up 3-hour sessions before I can actually record PlayStation Vita games. So it's going to be a lot cooler for me to actually get those Vita games recorded now, and it actually has me really excited, because one of the series that I remember you guys really enjoying in the past was the Soul Sacrifice series, and I had to stop it because I just couldn't deal with the hassle of mounting the PlayStation and mounting the camera behind me, and then I couldn't even play the game properly. because I couldn't move the PlayStation around all that much. So this is going to fix that. I'm going to be able to record Soul Sacrifice. I also know that a lot of you guys have been waiting for my opinions on Tokiden, which is a game that I was really excited about. I already own it, and I haven't even touched it because I've been waiting for this PlayStation Vita to get here so that I could actually just record it. I might even do a live stream of it. It all depends on time constraints because this past couple of weeks has been really chaotic. But yeah, definitely Soul Sacrifice, Tokiden. I want to give you guys some Ragnarok Odyssey as well, hopefully before April, because on April we're going to have Ragnarok Odyssey Ace come to the United States. So by then, hopefully you guys will have a better idea what Ragnarok Odyssey is all about, because I do plan on making some videos on that. I want to bring maybe even some more Ys videos because I really enjoyed playing Ys. It was a lot of fun, although I didn't like having to film it with the camera, not to mention it looked like ass with the camera. So hopefully with the Vita capture card, it's going to look a lot better. Also bring you guys maybe some more Persona 4, which was definitely a JRPG that marked me quite a bit. I loved Persona 4, so that's something that I would really like to bring more often to the channel. As well as live streaming, because basically with the setup I currently have, I can live stream straight off the Vita like if it's any other device. Basically, with this PlayStation Vita, the Vita becomes as easy to record to for me as it is to record a PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, or PC. It's just like embedded into my current workflow right now, and it is awesome. So long as this Vita remains functional, because here's the thing. If this Vita breaks down, I'm fucked. Like, it's that simple, because I can't ship this back to Japan so that Katsu Kitty can fix it if there's anything wrong with it. Because I'm not saying that it will, because it's been running fine so far. Ever since it got here, it's been running fine, no issues whatsoever. But like, if anything goes wrong with it, like, I can't take it to Sony because Sony's not going to fix it. And I would have to ship it back to Katsu Kitty. And the problem with that is when he would ship it back to Portugal, I would have to pay custom fees again. And that would be ridiculous because like the retarded amount of money that I paid to get this out of customs, like I paid more than half of what this device is worth just to get it out of customs. Yeah, it's that bad. So again, I'm going to just shamelessly plug Patreon, guys. But yeah, I'm really excited about getting into the whole PlayStation Vita thing because it's something that I've been wanting to get into a lot more, and I couldn't because for whatever reason, stuff that I can't record, I mentally can't get into that stuff these days. It's like some people have said, oh, you could just have a system, just to have fun. And mentally, I can't think like that. I'm like, no, whatever I do, if I'm having fun, I need to share it with my audience. I need to let them know that this thing that I'm doing on this device is awesome. So that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to get it. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to tell me, oh man, you should have invested on a Wii U and then you could play Monster Hunter, or you should have invested on an Xbox One and then you could play whatever. But the fact of the matter is I did a little bit of research. There's not a lot of titles on those platforms that I want to play. Whereas if I go to the PlayStation Vita, there's a lot of stuff that I want to share with you guys from PlayStation Vita. So I went ahead, took the plunge, did the gamble, and that's that. Now, several people have obviously been asking me about Dark Souls 2. There's been so many questions about Dark Souls 2. The thing is, I've been avoiding spoiling myself for Dark Souls 2 as much as possible. So a lot of people sometimes ask me, oh, did you see this new trailer? Did you see this new piece of content? Did you see this gameplay thing? And I have to say, here's the thing. I love the Dark Souls franchise. It is my favorite gaming franchise to date. Hands down. Hands down. Like, not even, there's nothing that even rises up to the level of Dark Souls with me. Like, there are other games that I like, for sure. But, like, to like it at the level that I enjoy Dark Souls, there is nothing. And you guys might be wondering, so aren't you excited for looking at all this new media? And I have to say, I miss what happened with Dark Souls. Because in the timing before the release of Dark Souls was not a hyped up game at all. And I'm not saying that all this hype is bad, mind you, not at all. The thing that I'm saying is that back in those days, I remember I was always, man, I want to look up more information on Dark Souls before Dark Souls was ever mainstream, okay? Because I had played Demon Souls and I had loved the crap out of Demon Souls. And like, I remember even back when I was at TGN, it was interesting because a lot of people were talking about all these games, like people were talking about Diablo 3 and talking about all these other titles. And I would always tell them, man, screw all that. Dark Souls. That's the thing. Before Dark Souls was, I kind of sound like a hipster now. I liked Dark Souls before Dark Souls was cool. But that was really the case. That was actually what happened. Like, several people would be telling me all about how excited they would be for this game or this expansion. I'd be like, nah, man, to me, it's all about Dark Souls. And you would look for new information and there was nothing. There was almost nothing about Dark Souls. Like, not a lot of people were talking about it. And I always thought, man, these people don't know. They just don't know. And now you look at the success that Dark Souls 2 brings, and it's just ridiculous. Because, like, everybody is foaming at the mouth to get their hands on Dark Souls 2. Like, pretty much every, like, industry outlet, trend, every time there's anything said about Dark Souls 2, it's like topic game on Reddit r/games. Like, topic, it's top topic on r/games, like, all the time. I remember, like, at some point there was a leak and someone said, it seems that the PC date is going to be the 25th of April, I want to say. Damn, my memory is really going to hell. But yeah, it seems the PC release is going to be on the 25th of April. This was a rumor, okay? And a couple of weeks later, turns out, okay, this rumor is true. So when it was a rumor, it was one of the top debated topics of r/games. And then it went down, obviously, because as time goes by, new topics. And then 3 weeks later, the rumor is confirmed. Boom, back on top. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, there's so much stuff. And this is good because it's nice that there's a lot of people interested in Dark Souls 2, because hopefully maybe developers will see that not every gamer is looking for cookie cutter experiences. We want to be challenged as gamers. That is one of the best things about gaming, is the challenge and the sense of achievement. But as I was saying, because I kind of like rambled on a little bit here, as I kind of tend to do in my videos, the thing that I miss is, like, there wasn't all that much information. That was good, because when the game came out, everything was a surprise. And with Dark Souls 2, the fact that there's such a big marketing budget behind it, I think it's actually somewhat spoilerish for the franchise, because there's so many people discussing it in great length. And here's the thing. I know a lot more just with the testing that I've done on the network event. I know a lot more that I've really passed on to my audience. And some people would say, oh, but I mean, isn't that bad? Like, aren't you supposed to be this kind of journalist? For starters, I never considered myself a journalist. I am a YouTube content creator. That's what it says on my business card. Business card. Piece of paper with my name on it. But yeah, and in my email signature, I never say I'm not a journalist. I don't necessarily consider myself a journalist or official games media. I'm a YouTube content creator. I create content that revolves around gaming. That is what I do. And Dark Souls happens to be a passion of mine. Therefore, there's always going to be Dark Souls content on my YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, a lot of the people that I work with in the business, they know, because they check the channel and they know that, like, Dark Souls is a passion of mine. And what I'm saying is that with all this marketing behind it, it's hard for me to know what I should tell people and what I shouldn't tell people, because a lot of the stuff that's actually already came out, it's spoiler territory. Like, because if I wanted to really get views out of YouTube, you know what I could have done? I could have done a video that would detail the strategy for you to kill the 2 bosses that came out on the network test. I never did that. I wouldn't even need to use footage. I would just need to basically talk about it. And it was fair game. Nobody ever told me you can't do that. And the reason why I didn't do it is because I feel that will diminish people's experience. Because here's the thing. Once the game comes out, and I'm going to try to get basically a blind playthrough as fast as I can up on the channel. But once the game comes out, then it's your choice what you want to watch and what you don't want to watch. This is the way I feel. But before the game comes out, a lot of times, you want to get a little bit more information, but you don't necessarily want to be spoiled. And a lot of the videos that I see online is just like, it's spoiler here, spoiler there. I seem to remember particularly the Cursed trailer. Well, I think that was the name of that particular trailer. I saw that trailer once and I was like, I need to wipe this trailer out of my mind. Not because it was a bad trailer, it was a great trailer, but it just showed so much of the game that I kept thinking, so what's going to surprise me when I actually get in there? So thankfully, I actually forgot most of that trailer by now, and I never looked at it again. So when people ask me about this stuff, here's the thing. I'm trying not to spoil myself, and I'm trying my hardest not to spoil anyone in my audience either, because I think you guys should enjoy the game for what it is. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even advise people to straight up watch my playthrough before you experience the game for yourselves. You really shouldn't do that. Unless for whatever reason you don't like Dark Souls and you just like watching people play Dark Souls, that's a different thing. There's different strokes for different folks. But definitely don't spoil yourself ahead of time. There's so much information out there that I feel people got to be really careful with what they watch, because there's too much information. There was a lot more attention paid to Dark Souls in terms of marketing. And I'm not saying that was necessarily a bad thing, because it's definitely good if Dark Souls penetrates the mainstream media and all that. But it needs to penetrate the mainstream media. And I keep saying penetrate for whatever reason. It needs to get into the mainstream media, and it needs to do it for the right reasons. It can't be, for the simplicity or forever, but for whatever reason, like a lot of the stuff that we were suspecting at the start, like the game was going to be simpler and all this. But I'm confident that Epic Name Bro knows what he's talking about. And since Epic Name Bro already played through the entirety of the game and he said he liked it a lot more than Dark Souls, I'm confident that the game is going to be solid. Like from the point that Epic Name Bro said, I played through the entire thing. He said it on Twitter. I played through the entire thing. It's awesome. And I like it better than Dark Souls. I was like, okay, then it's a solid game. Because I trust Epic Name Bro. So anyways, that's kind of how I feel about Dark Souls 2. I can't wait to get started. I'm definitely excited about it. That's one of the questions that people ask me the more, like, are you excited about Dark Souls? Of course I'm excited about Dark Souls. I'm wearing the hat of Souls, for crying out loud. So yeah, I'm excited for Dark Souls 2. It's just I'm avoiding the media because I want to experience everything by myself firsthand, and I want to struggle through every little bit of that game firsthand and just experience everything the game has to offer firsthand without looking at any other media before, which is why I'm kind of on a media blackout for Dark Souls 2. Also, several people have asked if I was going to do any other Dark Souls playthroughs before Dark Souls 2. At this point, I don't think so. Highly doubt it, because we're so close, and I'm still like uploading stuff from the Dragon's Dogma playthrough, as well as right now I want to get some of these out as well some videos out of my modded PlayStation Vita before Dark Souls 2, although I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to be able to do that because Dark Souls 2 is right around the corner. Several people have asked me, did you pre-order Dark Souls 2? And here's the thing. I would have actually loved to get the Dark Souls 2 Collector's Edition. I would have loved to do it, and I really wanted to do it. But at the end of the day, what happens is I buy these things. And I buy these things. And when I tell people I don't even spend $10 on a video game if I can avoid it, I mean it. So since I have a contact in Namco Bandai, I've been trying to work with them to get a copy of Dark Souls 2, which I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. I'm not exactly sure if it's going to happen at launch, because I don't know, because there's always that thing, which is I'm working with Namco Bandai in the United States, and I'm living in Portugal. And there's always the localization thing, and there's a lot of stuff in between. I mean, just so that you guys know, for instance, all the stuff that I've gotten from Namco recently, if you guys go and watch the channel on the first impression sections, there's a ton of Namco stuff in there. All of that stuff are actually US PSN codes. So I created a US account so that I could use that, because getting the European versions, I can't get in touch with anyone from Europe. Like, it seems that a lot of people from Europe just straight up don't want to work with me for whatever reason, which is why I'm always grateful whenever publishers from Europe or from Portugal actually do work with me. But it seems that publishers from the United States are just a lot more reliable and a lot more open to working with people like me. So I don't know, but I don't want to harp onto that. But essentially, hopefully Namco Bandai is going to get me a copy of Dark Souls 2, and that is how I'm going to play it. That might be a PSN code. That might be a physical copy. I'm still working with my contact there, Joseph Cartridge, which I even told you guys on the social media that if you like Dark Souls, you should really be following him. His Twitter is @jcartridge. Damn, I probably totally butchered that, but he's the one I'm working with to get all of this stuff sorted out. But yeah, that is how the Dark Souls 2 thing is going to come out. Basically, as soon as I have access to a code, I start recording. That's just the way it is. I'm not going to start publishing because there's going to be an embargo until the day the game actually releases. But I'm going to start recording instantly, and I might even do a live stream on the day of the launch. Still not exactly sure how that's going to go down because it all depends. My live streams have also been somewhat unstable because the device that I use for live stream is not 100% reliable, and I can't get a better connection at this point. Also, I didn't mention this, but never mind. I was going to mention something, but I think I'm going to leave that one out. It's nothing too pertinent. It's just about internet connections. Just reminded me of something, but it's pointless anyways. So something else that I want to talk about is Dragon's Dogma. So Dragon's Dogma, the playthrough at this point is very closely coming to an end. The final episode is number 56, in case you guys are wondering. The final episode also has almost no commentary. I explained this at the start of that particular episode for the people that don't watch Casts. And some of you might even be wondering, what do you mean it has almost no commentary? Well, the thing is, at the end of the game, there's just so much cinematics that I feel that my commentary in the middle of that is actually going to spoil all the cinematics that are going to be taking place. As a matter of fact, I fully expect that once that video gets uploaded, I'm probably not going to be able to monetize it because of all the cinematics that are in it. YouTube's going to come down with their content ID match and all of the companies that were involved in the creation of Dragon's Dogma. Not even Capcom directly, because Capcom has been a straight shooter in terms of supporting YouTubers. They've been pretty much removing claims like within 24 hours of anyone disputing them. But the companies that did the audio for the game and all that other bullshit, those are being complete and utter fucking scumbags, and I hope they bankrupt. Yeah, that's right. I hope they fucking bankrupt, because what they're doing is wrong, and fuck them. So yeah, that's all I really got to say to those companies. As a matter of fact, one of these days I still have to go and do that whole thing that I told you guys about, that I was going to name and shame all the companies that are claiming my videos illegitimately. And I really should get to that. It's just I don't find that a big priority. You know, it's like I got so much cool stuff to show my audience. Why should I be making a video talking shit about scumbags that don't even deserve the attention? So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I should eventually make that video, but it's going to be at a time where there's a lot less for me to worry about, because right now there's just so much good stuff to talk about that I don't even want to engage in discussion with all these other crappy companies and all that other stuff. Apart from that, I've also been trying to every now and then get a little bit of free time to play some games, because I've been getting some really great games. Stuff like, for instance, Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. I really wanted to finish that game, and I haven't been able to because it's just like flooded with work. I also wanted to play Final Fantasy 13-3 because I really enjoyed the combat system in that game, like I told you guys. And even though there's a whole timer thing that pissed me off quite a bit, I still wanted to play more of that game. And then recently, when I started playing two titles that came out from Namco that were also sent to me by Jay Carthage, I was just like, man, I really want to play these games. And these are older games even, which is the Tales of Symphonia. I was just like, oh, man, I love those titles. I just wanted to keep on playing. I'm like, I don't even want to review these. Like fuck even making a video for this. I'm just going to play the crap out of this. But it's like, I really should tell you guys about it, because I feel that a lot of people are going to really enjoy those titles. Tales of Symphonia, just like friggin' amazing. I loved it. So it's been somewhat frustrating for me recently, because I just haven't had any time to play almost anything, like any actual free time. The only things I play is when I'm recording. Actually, no, that's not entirely true. Every now and then, some friends come over, and when friends come over, I can't actually work. So in those times, I will actually play a couple of games. Like something I've been playing recently, and that I'm probably going to play tonight, which is interesting. I think a lot of you guys are going to be surprised. I'm playing this. And the reason why it's so interesting is because currently there's the patch on the PC, so a lot of people are obviously playing it on the PC. And I'm curious to check out the PC version as well. But the reason I've been playing this is because I have a friend of mine, and he brings his wife over, and we every now and then, like every weekend or so, we get together, have dinner, and then at night we'll watch a movie or something like that. And something that we've also started doing is we've been playing this all four of us on the same console. So him and his wife, me and my wife, all playing Diablo 3, and it's just a lot of fun. And it's one of those games that I've been playing. It's mostly because of the wives, let's face it, because whenever you get a game that your wife, your significant other is into, you kind of like want to humor them, both me and my friends. So that's kind of why we do it, because I mean, both of us have played the crap out of Diablo 3. But playing it with them, it's nice, introducing them to video games, all that kinds of neat stuff. So that's also something that's probably going to happen tonight, because they're coming over for dinner and whatnot. But yeah, apart from that, I really want to finish those other titles, but it's going to be taking a while. And right now, probably a lot of my time is going to be spent with Tokiden on the PlayStation Vita before Dark Souls 2 comes out, because once Dark Souls 2 comes out, of course, it's going to be no life mode all the way. Now, this is pretty much all the topics that I really had to discuss for today's Conscast. However, there was a particular comment in one of my videos that I really wanted to address. As a matter of fact, you guys know that I make it a habit of reading every single comment and replying to pretty much every single comment. And the reason I didn't reply to this one is because I wanted to address it in the next Conscast that I would make, because I feel that this person makes quite a few good points. And I just wanted to discuss, and I really appreciate the feedback too. I'm not calling this guy out, and I'm not like saying, oh, this guy said this. I just want to make sure that people understand where I'm coming from. Also, I'm summarizing what he said because the post is really, really lengthy. So I'm kind of like summarizing what he said, and some of this stuff might come out. How should I put this? Some of the stuff, the way that I say it might come out wrong, but I'm basically like expressing what I felt was his point of view. This is not literally what he said. It's just where I feel he's going to. And again, I'm not doing this to call him out. I'm just doing this to kind of like do it in a summary fashion to kind of reply to a couple of things that he's mentioned. So anyways, this comment was by Ben Nutley, and it was in my Patreon video. The video that I made public, I think it was like 4 or 5 days ago. I can't remember because I don't sleep. But yeah, he said that he felt like I was asking for a lot of feedback in that particular video, and he decided to give me a lot of feedback, basically. And he says, for starters, one of the things that he mentions is how my first impressions videos usually won't make it to the top of YouTube search results. Therefore, they aren't seen by as much. They aren't seen as much as other review videos from sites like Machinima, IGN, etc. Which he also says that these sites like Machinima, IGN actually make some really crappy reviews. But he then goes on to question if I'm aware that the people that I'm aiming for will most likely never really watch my videos. Well, I wanted to address this because here's the thing. I'm not aiming for the people that are looking for those 5-minute reviews. Not at all. Because pretty much when Machinima or IGN or Game Trailers or whatever, when those guys do reviews, they're doing a very summary review. And here's the thing. I'm not even criticizing whether or not those reviews are valid. Like, one of the things that I will tell you that is not valid is the scores that they give on those reviews. Those are just useless. They will serve absolutely no purpose unless you know a lot about the person that wrote the review. Because without the context of what that person likes, it's very hard for you to actually make a judgment on how good the game is. That's kind of how I feel. Like, for instance, we take an example like Jim Sterling. And Jim Sterling doesn't make these 5-minute reviews, mind you. He makes written reviews. And he reviewed Earth Defense Force. And he gave it, what was it, a 1 star, 2 stars out of 5? I don't know. It was a really low score for Earth Defense Force. And the reason he gave it a low score is because he said he didn't like the game. It's kind of like that. Simply says the game has choppy frame rate, which is true. The graphics aren't amazing. They look like they're PlayStation 2 era graphics, which I would argue that's a little bit of an exaggeration. Sure, the graphics don't look great, but they don't look PlayStation 2 either. Okay? Sure, the textures aren't amazing. It doesn't look like Last of Us. But then again, whoa. Sorry, that was my wife. She was using the vacuum cleaner. Sometimes there's some weird feedback noise. But anyways, in The Last of Us, you're also not blowing up entire cities. So there's that. They can't have that much graphical fidelity and still have the game run properly. I mean, the game barely runs as is because there's just so much stuff on screen at any given time. But that's one of those things. It's a limitation of the console. The consoles are not going to be able to process all of that stuff, which is one of the reasons why I would actually like to see EDF on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, so that we could have a game like that without it actually slowing down like all hell, or even on PC. But I'm kind of getting a little bit off topic here. The point of this is scores don't matter, for starters. Review scores don't matter. They're very subjective. And I'm not with this saying that, oh, Jim Sterling is an asshole because he lowly rated EDF. It's just EDF does not sound like the kind of game that Jim Sterling likes. Therefore, you can't really get too much out of the information of the review score. But again, I think that even this is kind of like not the point of the question. I just keep diverging and rambling. At the end of the day, where I'm getting at is that the reviews that I make aren't for the same people that are looking for, as a matter of fact, I don't call them reviews. I call them first impression videos for a reason. The videos that I make aren't for the people that are looking for those 5-minute reviews with a score, because I don't feel that those really give you a whole lot when it comes down to making your purchasing decision, which is what I'm hoping that people use my videos for, to make an informed purchase decision. For starters, I put myself out there quite a bit in videos like this, where I tell you, speak my mind out. So a lot of people, if you bother to watch some of my videos, a lot of people will kind of know where I'm coming from. They know the type of games that I like, so they know where I'm coming from when I am talking about a specific game. The other thing is, I try to see if there is a target audience for a specific game, and that target audience is not always going to be me. That is something that I clearly state on the videos. Like, for instance, I made a video about Puppeteer a long time ago. Puppeteer, while it seems like a really fun game, it's not necessarily a game that I would say I would get into that hardcore. Same thing with, let's say, Little Big Planet. It's just not my kind of game. It doesn't mean that there is not an audience for those titles. There definitely is, and there are great titles. It's just people need to watch a significant amount of gameplay, this is my opinion, in order to make the decision whether or not that specific title is for them. And then there's some games that I go into thinking this is also not a game that is for me. And by the time I'm done looking at it and then I make my video, I'm like, I was brutally surprised by it because I ridiculously got into it. Some examples of that, we would have stuff like Ollie Ollie. I loved Ollie Ollie. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people that look at a game like Ollie Ollie and they're going to say, oh, it looks like a mobile game and whatever. It looks like one of those games you should get for free on the iOS store. And here's the thing, like so many gamers these days complain about, at least I know that I do, about how free-to-play titles kind of exploit people. And this is something that happens quite prevalently in the gaming market. And then when a game comes out that costs like $10, does not rip you off for anything, comes fully featured with everything you need, and does not constantly harass you to buy something or shows ads to your face, you'll say that, oh, it's like a mobile game. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Ollie Ollie was a great title, and I don't know. I'm just once again kind of dodging the whole question. But the thing is, the way that I make videos, it's not for those people that are looking for the 5-minute reviews. My videos are not for that particular audience. Wow. My computer just launched the game, and that is kind of why the lighting switched. Wasn't expecting it to launch this game, but anyways, whatever. It was downloading stuff, so it randomly launched the game. The whole thing about the 5-minute reviews is, like I said, I don't think they're enough to make a purchasing decision, and I hope that people, damn it, it's really bothering me. There, go away. And I hope that people actually, search for more gameplay type videos, and that is kind of like the crowd that I'm looking for. It's not the crowd that's looking for the IGN reviews or the game trailer reviews or the Machinima reviews. I'm looking for people that want a more detailed opinion. Now, the thing is, getting those people to actually look at channels like mine is really hard, because a lot of those people are already on channels like Total Biscuits or Northern Lion. Northern Lion is actually also a really great channel. But a lot of those people are already on these other well-established channels, and I honestly don't know what I can do to attract those people, because I'm not going to do those 5-minute reviews that are going to get me more views just because they'll get me more views. That's not something that I want to do. So one would almost say, well, then you're kind of condemned to failure because people are just not going to discover your content. And I don't have a reply for that. All I can say is I'm going to keep doing this for as long as it's humanly possible. And when it's no longer possible for me to continue doing videos, I'll be forced to stop. But I don't feel that compromising on the videos that I'm producing in order to get more views, I don't feel that that is a valid option, because at that point, you're basically not even doing something that you care for. But there's more on this particular topic as we move forward with the rest of his questions. So then he also mentions that most people maybe aren't ready to watch like a 45 plus minute video when they're looking for a game review. And I completely understand that. For starters, I don't expect 100% of the people that watch my videos to watch the entire thing. I understand that a lot of people are going to skip through the video. That is something that I completely understand. There's going to be people that will go through my first impressions, and if they find the game interesting enough, they'll watch it all the way. If they find the game is not interesting enough for them, they will either click away or they will skip through the video to see if the game becomes more interesting or not. And that is something that I just feel that is an option that is there and it needs to be there. Not everybody is going to watch my every single video. That is entirely correct. Not everybody is going to watch through the duration of a 45-minute video, but there's a lot of people that are going to be thankful that those 45 minutes are there. Even if they don't watch it all the way, they're going to be thankful. They're like, I want to know more about this one. Like, let's say, for instance, you have someone who is really interested on, on the Tales of Symphonia. And you have someone who is really interested on the Ollie Ollie video. So the person who is interested in the Ollie Ollie video might not be interested in the Tales of Symphonia. So he's going to be thankful for the fact that I don't know how much I did on Ollie Ollie. I think it was 20-something minutes. He's going to be thankful for the fact that I did an in-depth look at Ollie Ollie during those 20 minutes. And he's not really going to care that much about Tales. And the opposite might also be true. He's going to look... the guy that likes Tales is going to look at the Tales video and is going to be thankful that there's an in-depth Tales video there, and he's not really going to care if there's an in-depth video on Ollie Ollie there. That's because I do a lot of variety. So that's kind of actually the next point. Because while I often mention variety, he says I seem to have a certain bias towards Japanese games. Again, bear in mind, I'm not paraphrasing the guy. Okay, this is not what he said. It's just I'm summarizing things to go straight to the point. And here's the thing. For starters, I do have a bias for Japanese games. That is a fact. I seem to enjoy Japanese games more than other games. But the fact that a lot of Japanese games showed up on channel recently, that is not because of the fact that I really enjoy Japanese games. That is because of the fact that it was very recently that I got in touch with my Namco Bandai contact, and so it was very recently that I had access to the Namco Bandai library. So therefore, I basically just said, just send me this, and this, if you can. Just send me all these because I really want to check those out. And that's kind of why there were so many Japanese games suddenly showing up in the channel. But also, like I mentioned, I want to do Soul Sacrifice, which is also a Japanese game. I want to do Toki Then, which is also a Japanese game. I do have a bias for Japanese games, but the reason why there's a lot of them recently on the channel is because I recently had access to Namco Bandai. So that's pretty much the reason why it's there. But yes, I definitely do enjoy Japanese games, but if you go back, like, let's say a month or so on the first impressions list, I'm not sure you're going to find just Japanese games in there. But I don't know. I don't go back and look at that stuff all the time. I'm just like, I'm a very much in the moment kind of guy. It's like, if I receive this game to look at now, I'll look at it now, and that's that. So the other thing he said was, it seems that sometimes I review a game because I have to, because companies send me those games, and he feels that sometimes I might not be entirely genuine in these videos. This is actually a really good point, because here's the thing. I don't necessarily have to review every single game, but it's kind of expected of me. Like, if someone sends me a game, they'll kind of want me to do a video on it. And the thing is, I will request for a lot of these games. I will, even if they don't send them to me, or if they were already planning on sending them to me, I will actively request for these games. And what's happened recently, as I've told you guys, I really want to play some of the games that I've been sent. I think that as I am playing the game to kind of prepare myself for the video, I end up liking some of these titles so much that I just kind of, I get into that mood that I just want to play this title. I don't want to record a video now. I don't feel like recording. I want to play it. I just want to play it and just play the game and not make a video about it. So a lot of times I'll get this, but obviously I also want to show you guys the game, because that's kind of like my passion, showing you guys a game. But the thing is, the vehicle for showing you guys a game involves me really preparing a video. It involves work, basically. Even though it's my passion, all that stuff, at the end of the day, it's still I have to record audio, have to do noise getting, have to do editing, have to do all this stuff. Even though a lot of my videos don't have a lot of heavy editing, as you guys can tell, because I'm usually like one take Willie. I'll just unscripted content, boom, go. The thing about it is, I guess that sometimes a little bit of that will reflect in my commentary, like a little bit of that attitude that I just want to go play the game now. I don't want to be recording this video. And even though I personally haven't really noticed that attitude kind of like springing forth onto the video itself, I guess that someone who pays more attention or who knows a lot about me, maybe Ben Nutley pays real attention to a lot of my videos, I guess that maybe people can tell through my voice tone or something like that, that maybe on that particular time I would rather be actually playing the game instead of making a video about it. I don't know. The thing is, I want to make these videos. I also have to make these videos in a way. I'm not forced to making them, but here's the thing. If I don't want to make a video about a video game, I have to inform the companies that send me video games, like, look, I'm not going to be covering this video on my channel. And that is also a little bit of a problem. Why is that a problem? Because, I mean, how should I give this in a proper example for you guys? Well, basically, let's say you're dealing with Activision and you really like Call of Duty. So Activision sends you Call of Duty, and then Activision will send you another game. Like, I can't even think. It's just Activision is just so associated with Call of Duty. I can't even think of another title. But let's say they send you another title. Since it's Activision Blizzard, they send you Diablo 3. And maybe you don't like Diablo 3 that much, but maybe you'll still have a look at it. And I guess that when you're making these videos, sometimes you're like, I just want to get back to Call of Duty. And regardless of whether or not you're enjoying Diablo 3, it kind of comes out. Because people who pay attention, they can tell the type of mood that you're in by your voice. People who are really observative, which it seems to me like is the case of this Ben Nutley person. He seems to be a very observing person. And at that point, it's not a fact of whether or not you're genuine. I guess that it's a point where you're just like, the way that you're speaking, it kind of lets someone who is listening to the way that you're talking, it lets them know that it doesn't seem like you really wanted to take a look at this. And here's the thing, again, it's not that I don't want to. I do. I definitely do. And I definitely want to share that experience with my audience. It's just, I guess sometimes I just feel like I need to take a break and I need to just play something as opposed to just be recording all the time. And that is what I guess kind of flows out every now and then. Because, like I said, I don't have to do anything in reality because nobody is paying me to do these first impressions videos. The only money I'm getting is from ad revenue on YouTube. Like, it's not like Activision sends me a check every time I do a review. It's not like I have a boss that's got sponsors or anything like that write me a check every time I do a review. I don't have to do any of that stuff. As a matter of fact, if all I want is to make money, I should just invest in making more Dark Souls videos. That would be the easiest way to actually get more money. So I don't have to do it, but I want to do it. And sometimes I guess I kind of force myself a little bit to doing certain things. And the thing with it is the scheduling. Because like I receive a lot of these titles right on top of release. And I feel like I need to force myself to review it as fast, not review it, but do a first impressions on it as fast as I possibly can so that you guys can have my opinion on that title before it goes out. And again, I guess there is some kind of me forcing myself to do something in there, but it's not like companies are forcing me to do anything. It's me. I am forcing myself to do stuff. It kind of reminds me of a video that Pallytime put up recently, in which he said that he was a workaholic, basically. Not sure how many of you guys actually also follow Pallytime, but he said he's a workaholic. And I guess I feel that I'm a little bit of a workaholic as well. And a lot of times I will somehow force myself into doing things, but nobody is pushing me to do them. It's just me. I'm like, I should do this because my audience is going to want to know about this game. So I should talk about it. And maybe sometimes I'm not in the perfect mood for talking about a certain game. And that might come out. And that might be where he's coming from with the whole thing saying that sometimes I might not sound too genuine. And here's the thing. Regardless of when I would do a video for a game, I guess if I maybe would wait, maybe it would be better. Like if I would do a video for a game and a little bit later because it would give me more time to think about how I feel about that specific game. The perfect scenario would be if I would have enough time to play through every single game that people send me, but there's not enough time in the world these days because I've been getting sent a lot of stuff. So I do get somewhat swamped. So it kind of becomes a game of balance. I have to balance out how I feel in regards to a title and the amount of time I have to actually play that title and how I should present that title to my audience. And again, don't think that I'm overthinking this, kind of like looking for the positives in every game, because you look at a game like Final Fantasy 13-3 and I said, I love the combat system. That is a fact. I love the combat system on that game, but I hate the fact that there's a timer there. And if I was doing just like, sponsored reviews, I would never say, oh, I hate that timer, because I couldn't. I would have to find a positive way to spin things. And I don't look for that. I don't look for the positive way. I look for something that tells me some people are going to like this, some people are going to like this. I'm not looking for like, oh, this aspect is terrible and this aspect is amazing, or looking just for the positive. I'm just looking for, okay, is there a specific subset of people that would enjoy this particular feature? Yes or no? And is this a feature that I personally like? Yes or no? That's kind of the way that I approach games. Anyways, I think I've diverged a little bit from the original question. Then he goes on to say that I'm making content in a way that is not necessarily advantageous to me, because, for instance, the same people that come to my channel to look at first impressions videos are not going to be the same people that are going to be looking at Dragon's Dogma episode number 49. And I get that. I totally understand. Some people are going to enjoy both. Some people are only going to come for the first impressions. Some people are only going to come for the Dragon's Dogma. That's fine. I have no problems with that. And again, I realize if I would specialize into something, my channel would grow faster. Excuse me. I realize this. I fully understand this. As a matter of fact, you go to any channel on YouTube, and pretty much every channel on YouTube was specialized at some point before they grew into a really big channel. At least I think most channels were like that. I can pretty much look at almost every single channel of known personalities on YouTube and tell you how their channel became big. Like, for instance, if you came at me and asked me, so why is Total Biscuit's channel that big? Because he does a lot of variety content. Total Biscuit's channel is that big because he had exclusive access to the World of Warcraft, I think it was Cataclysm beta. And he also had a previous audience from his show, which was called Blue Please, which was a radio show that he hosted. So he's already got kind of like a radio show host experience from Blue Please. So he brought that into YouTube, and he had exclusive access to World of Warcraft Cataclysm beta. By the way, the Blue Please show was basically a show where he discussed stuff about World of Warcraft. So World of Warcraft has a massive audience. As a matter of fact, one of the most viewed videos I've ever had on YouTube is a World of Warcraft video, still to this day, which was my very first tanking guide for World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft has a massive view. When you have access to a beta for a game like World of Warcraft, you're going to get a massive audience. As a matter of fact, that is also the reason why Jesse Cox is such a big channel. As a matter of fact, if you guys know, the actual name of his channel is OMFG Cata. Oh my fucking God, Cataclysm. At least that's what I thought at the start. He then says it is one moderately funny, isn't it? One moderately fun gamer. Again, it seems that it's one moderately fun gamer, Cataclysm. Anyways, I'm not even sure if that happens to be the case or not, but I'm pretty sure that Jesse Cox also kind of rode that wave with the World of Warcraft thing. If we go to look at someone else, let me think. What are the channels? If you look at Kriparian, his channel, for instance, grew really popular by the time that he got involved with Athene, because he kind of like, you guys know Athene is a troll, and then Kriparian trolled Athene, so he was kind of like a people's hero, and a lot of people started following him, so it was kind of like he rode that wave of the Diablo 3 as well as Athene's fame. Athene's channel got really big because he came up with that series where he said, I'm the best pal in the world, so again, riding the World of Warcraft wave. It's just, this is how these channels became big. So as you can see, at some point, pretty much every single channel on YouTube that has any significant size to it. And I know that I'm not mentioning all of the big channels out there because I don't watch a lot of YouTube content, really. I'm more of a content creator than a content consumer. But yeah, there was a point where all these channels were specialized. And me, I'm doing the thing all wrong because I'm not specializing at all. I'm all over the place. And I realized this. I realized that this compromises my chances to success. But this is what I love doing. And this is the way I love doing it. So yeah, whilst I have segregated audiences and it's not optimal and all that, I don't know how to fix that. Because if I go back and let's say, okay, then just specialize on Dark Souls. Play only Dark Souls. I don't want to just play Dark Souls. While I love Dark Souls in this game that I love the most, I don't want to just limit my gaming experience to Dark Souls. There's too many great games out there to miss. Not to mention, if you just play Dark Souls, eventually you're going to get sick of it. You're going to burn yourself out. Like Rurikhan burned himself out of Diablo 3 and Path of Exile. Just burned out on action RPGs in general because he played so much of them. Then he goes on to say something which this particular thing really struck me as relevant, which is my PlayStation Plus videos sound too much like a PlayStation advertisement. That is 100% correct. He even goes on to question if maybe I make extra money out of those videos because I'm basically advertising for PlayStation. And while I would love to say yes, no, I don't actually make any extra money. And I do realize that my videos do sound a lot like a PlayStation advertisement. And here's the thing, I can't even tell you why. I remember that when I began doing the series for PlayStation Plus, I began doing it for the simple reason that I became a subscriber of PlayStation Plus. And it was shortly after that, one of the E3s, I can't remember if it was 2012, pretty sure it wasn't 2013. It was either 2011 or 2012. One of those E3s, it was announced that they kind of really revamped the way that PlayStation Plus worked to actually give you some really good titles. Because before that particular E3, the titles that you were getting on PlayStation Plus were not sufficient for me to say, okay, I'm putting down like $50 a month and I'm going to get these games, because the titles that were coming out on PlayStation Plus were not amazing. And after that conference, all the titles that started coming out on PlayStation Plus became somewhat relevant. And that's kind of like when I started getting into that. And when I got into that, I was like, man, I should like do a program to kind of tell people the games that are coming out, because I myself was having a lot of times to look up what games coming out on PlayStation Plus this month. And I would have to go to the blog and I would have to check it out and say, okay, these games are coming out. And I always thought like it would be cool if I would make a program that just says this stuff for people that maybe want to go after PlayStation Plus. And the reason I kind of made it sound like a PlayStation Plus advertisement is I wanted to go for a show that was fast paced, which is kind of like, it takes me like 5 to 6 takes to actually get started on doing a PlayStation Plus show, because I have to say stuff so fast. It actually takes me a couple of takes to actually get going at the rhythm that I feel I need to do for that show. And one of the easy ways of doing a show that fast is kind of to make it look like an advertisement. So I guess that's why my PlayStation Plus videos sound like advertisements. But no, I don't actually make any extra money off of those. As a matter of fact, those videos have pretty poor performance. The only really reason why I do them is because I feel the PlayStation Plus program is a lot of bang for your buck. And I feel it's a great program. That's really the only reason I do it. It's like I do it because I feel that people can actually get a lot of value out of something like PlayStation Plus. And I'm not the only person in the industry that thinks like that. Every time I'm listening to a podcast and someone mentions PlayStation Plus, usually people only have good stuff to say about it because they're getting free games. Not really free games. This is a misconception. Like a lot of people will say free games, and sometimes I will make that mistake too. Free games, it's free games. It's not free games. You're paying for it, and you're essentially renting those titles. So you just got to keep that in mind. But it looks like free because if you just put down the big payment of like $50 a year or whatever it is, and it's like it's free. It's free. Everything else that comes after that, it feels like it's free, even though it's not because you already paid for it in advance. So it kind of feels like it's free, but it's not. But it's still pretty good value. But yeah, the reason why that sounds like an advertisement, I guess, is because I was going for the whole speed thing. And I guess it does make it seem like I'm getting paid by places. As a matter of fact, it's interesting that he mentioned that in this comment because for the past, I would say 3 or 4 episodes that I recorded, I actually started thinking the same way. Like as I was doing the recording, because like I said, I'm a very much on the fly guy. Like I think of stuff on the moment. So when I started thinking about this is actually when I was recording. Like I would be talking about the stuff and I was thinking in my head, man, it sounds so much like a fucking PlayStation advertisement. It is not intentional. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking about it in that last episode. Even I was like, maybe I need to change the format a little bit here because people might be getting the wrong idea. And definitely with, man, I even forget his name now. Ben Nutley. I wonder if that's even a real name because like Nutley, weird. But yeah, that's the reason why those sound like an advertisement, and I might actually be changing that. I might be going for a slower paced kind of show because one of the other problems with it is it gives me very little time to think because like I said, that is still unscripted. Like the only thing I have in front of me when I'm recording those videos is the blog post on PlayStation because they announced this on the PlayStation blogs, both the European blog and North American blog. They announced the games that are coming out. I put that blog in front of me, which is why then I even say during the video, and this is what they had to say about the game, and blah, blah, and then I just splur out the description of the title. And then if it's the title I played, I will give you a little bit of my opinion, but it gives me very little time to actually think about what I'm going to say ahead of time about that specific game. So it's really hard for me, and apparently it makes it seem like I've sold out to PlayStation, which is not the case. Even though I have to be honest, though, the PlayStation Portugal guys are amazing to me, so it would almost make sense for me to like do it for some kind of monetary gain, but not really. They are really cool to me, though. I'll give you that much. The PlayStation Portugal guys have been really cool to me, and they don't really have any, like, how should I put this? They don't have a lot of benefit in being awesome to me because a big majority of my audience is not even from Portugal. But they still want to work with me, so I'm pretty happy with that. Let's keep it coming. He then goes on to say, the Dark Souls for Dummies video had a ton of views and it was a much more structured video, and maybe I should do more structured videos and I would get more views that way, as opposed to just continuing to do my unscripted videos. And here's the thing. I wanted to do that video because a lot of people will even think, oh, you were just riding the wave of Dark Souls 2 and you just wanted to get more views because Dark Souls 2 is around the corner and there's a lot of people getting into Dark Souls, and that's why we did it. The reason why I actually did that video is I should even tell you guys the podcast that I listen to, but I don't feel like getting too much into that. But I listen to podcasts quite a bit. Like whenever I'm doing something in my house that does not need me to be listening to anything, I will be listening to a podcast. That's, like I said, my mind is always racing 24/7, so I need to always be kind of like in the loop of things. So I listen to Epic Battle Axe. I listen to Giant Bomb. I listen to the PlayStation Blogcast, and that is a PlayStation advertisement podcast all the way. But I like to keep up to date on the stuff that's coming out for the PlayStation because PlayStation is the platform that I chose to game on. And I can't afford to have like multiple platforms and all that stuff. And particularly since I have contacts in PlayStation and they send me a lot of stuff to do videos on, the PlayStation's kind of like the obvious choice for me to use. So I listen to the PlayStation Blogcast to kind of get up to date on that particular stuff. Then there's other podcasts like I think Rebel FM. And there's another one that I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, there's the 8-4 Blogcast as well. And basically what started happening at some point before I made that video was I think I listened to like 3 of those podcasts. I don't know which ones. And every single one of them, one of the hosts was trying to go through Dark Souls, and they were saying how Dark Souls was hard on certain aspects. And basically they were saying a lot of things that I thought, that's so wrong. So that's kind of like what spurred me on to making that particular video. It wasn't riding the Dark Souls 2 wave. If I wanted to ride the Dark Souls 2 wave and pump it for views as much as I wanted to, I could have done that, and I chose not to kind of keep my audience away from spoilers. But that's the reason why I ended up making that video. I listened to a lot of podcasts, and a lot of people mentioned Dark Souls in those podcasts and saying how they were trying to get through it before Dark Souls 2 came out. And so I thought, well, maybe there's even more people trying to get through Dark Souls out there besides these guys. So I'll just make this video and kind of give them a couple of quick tips. I didn't want to give too many tips. A lot of people started saying, oh, you should make a video about this tip and that tip and the other tip. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, do you really want to hold everyone's hand? The game doesn't hold everyone's hand for a reason. So I even thought about making another 10 tips video, and I was like, man, I could even get some more views off of that. But then I was like, yeah. And here's the thing. The reason why that particular video has so many views, I'm not sure if you were aware or not, Ben Nutley, but that particular video was shared on the official Dark Souls Facebook page. And that's pretty much what got all those views on that video. It wasn't necessarily the fact that the video was more structured and all that. I'm sure the fact that it was Dark Souls had something to do with it. But one of the biggest things that it had going for it was the fact that it made it into the official Dark Souls Facebook page. And I didn't really request for that video to be posted there, to be completely honest. Like, I've gotten into the habit, working with PR companies and all that. Whenever I make a video on a specific title that I happen to have contacts on the publisher of that title, I will usually shoot them an email and say, hey, look, I made this video about this title of yours. That's pretty much what I do. You get into the habit of that because publishers want to know what kind of stuff you're doing with their titles. So that kind of like, they will evaluate this, some of them at least, they will evaluate how much coverage you're providing to their titles, and that will kind of influence their decisions on whether or not they will send you more stuff to work with. It is exactly that. That is the way it works. And it should be just common sense. So a lot of them, they start, like, when I start contacting them, they always ask me, oh, send me over whatever you happen to do with the title that we're sending you. So I got into the habit of doing that. So as I had the contact with Namco Bandai, when I finished doing that video, I was like, man, this video was actually pretty good. I'm going to send this over to Joseph. And like, lo and behold, all of a sudden I was going through my email because I was actually away from home. So I was looking at my emails on my phone, going through my YouTube comments, and someone said, Rurikhan, this video was posted on the official Dark Souls Facebook page. And I was like, what? So I found out through a comment, because I don't really watch a lot of Facebook, to be honest. I found that out through a comment on the video, and I was like, what? So I go to Dark Souls Facebook, and like, my phone is like going crazy because I didn't have good network where I was, and I couldn't even open the page, and I was like, God damn it, I need to know. Is it there? Is it not there? I don't know what the fuck is going on. But yeah, I was really excited when that happened, and that is the main reason why that particular video has so many views. And then in the end, he says a sentence which it kind of felt to me like this particular sentence, he was saying it kind of as a bad thing, but I personally don't see this as a bad thing. That's the thing. He was saying on the topic of the fact that my videos are so unstructured, his exact sentence, this is a paraphrase, he said, it almost feels more like listening to a friend talk to me about a game rather than listening to someone do a review. And after I read this sentence, I was like, well, I guess I'm doing a good job then, because that's exactly what I'm aiming for. To be completely honest, that is exactly the That's exactly the type of format that I try to give my videos. It's like you're talking to a friend about a video game. Now, I'm not claiming with this that, oh, I'm everybody's friend and we're all buddies and all this. It's like I treat everyone with respect, and I will accept people's ads on PlayStation, on Steam, and all that. But I'm not with this claiming that I know every single one of you and you're all my best friends and all this and that and the other. Because I see that sometimes a lot of YouTubers go out of their way to like tell people, oh, I love you and you're my best friend ever and all this and that and the other. And I don't necessarily go after that. I just treat people with respect. And if someone asks me something, I reply. If someone wants to get to know me better, they can ask stuff away all they want. And I try to reply as much as I possibly can. But I don't live under this secret illusion that I'm everybody's internet buddy or anything like that. I'm a very down-to-earth person. There are some people that I've met through my videos which I consider very good friends of mine. People like Paul Desmond, people like the Unit Lost guys, Side Strafe. Side Strafe's like a brother to me, to be completely honest. It's just, there's a lot of people that I've met that have definitely became more than just part of my audience or someone that I worked with. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say is that the way I structure my videos is exactly like that. I want people to look at a video of mine and think that it's the same thing as if they were discussing a game with a friend. As a matter of fact, we have discussions on the comment sections of the videos. A lot of time people ask me, oh, so what do you think about this particular feature? Are you into it? Are you not into it? Or I really agree with you on this topic, but I kind of disagree with you on that topic. And that's the kind of stuff that I really want out of my videos. I want discussion. I want community interaction. I want that stuff more than I really want views. The views, you know what I want views for? I just want views so that I can keep my lights on. That's all I really want the views for. I don't give a shit about being internet famous, being an internet celebrity. As a matter of fact, it seems that most people that are somewhat internet famous, they seem like they don't even enjoy it that much. Like, oh my God, everybody hates me and all of these other things, and I'm depressed and I'm all this. And I'm not even saying that those are not valid concerns. Mind you, I'm not criticizing people that come out and say that they receive a lot of hate. I understand that that is troublesome. As a matter of fact, I myself am still a target of hate every now and then. But although I don't really think that my audience is big enough to come after me in droves and just like, oh, you fucking motherfucker, gonna murder your entire goddamn family. Haven't really had one of those situations just yet, and I hope I never will. Because, again, that is one of the things that hopefully, by continuing to do things the way that I do things, and that means that I do videos in a way that they will only appeal to a certain specific subset of individuals, like kind of like a niche market, if you will. The way that I make videos like that, I'm hoping that keeps my audience with a certain level of engagement, which that doesn't even make a lot of sense. I'm just so tired at this point. But I'm hoping that keeping it like that, lighthearted and in-depth, and just like videos that actually require you to have a certain attention span, that hopefully that will keep the trolls away. Every now and then we still do get trolls in the channel. As a matter of fact, every now and then I'm forced to do something that I really, really hate, which is every now and then I do ban a person or so. I think that so far in the history of this channel, I banned like an entirety of 5 people. And I think the reason why that happens is because whenever someone comes to my channel and, like, let's say they watch one of my videos and they say, this video is garbage, I fucking hate this video, it's terrible, I don't like the way you make videos. I'll go there and I'll say, well, that's okay. I'm pretty sure there's going to be someone on YouTube that you might enjoy more than the videos that I make. And I'm sorry, but I'm not really going to change the way that I make things because you seem to feel that I should be making videos that are smaller or longer or whatever. It's like I make the videos that I want to make. And that's really all there is to it. And hopefully that will keep our community kind of like, you know, tight-knit group of people that actually want to engage in constructive discussions about gaming, as opposed to just like complete hate speech. Even though I myself, I have to be honest, every now and then, especially on the social streams, I go a little bit over the top. Like there will be a lot of times that I will say something and I'll be like, man, I probably shouldn't have said that. Oh man, this was a long cons cast, but I feel like it was a good one. Thank you very much, Ben Nutley, for all the valuable feedback that you've presented me, and I hope that I responded to your questions, and maybe hopefully a lot of people wanted to know the answer to those questions as well. But I hope that I adequately replied to everything, because again, I'm not doing this to single this person out or anything. I'm just doing it because I actually really liked the stuff that he brought up, and I thought it was really some great points of discussion for this particular cons cast. Don't expect me to always go after a specific comment and like discuss that at the length I've discussed this one. It just, this particular comment happened to be a comment that I thought was some really good points of discussion in there. That's why I kind of brought it up. Anyways, hope you guys are excited for what I'm going to be working on with this. Leave me your comments, feedback, all that kinds of great stuff in the comment section below. Thank you very much if you stuck this long out to the video, because I wasn't expecting this one to be this long. And I will see you guys on the next one.